Am I clearly audible? Start? Okay. Hi everyone. Wish you all a very, very happy Women's Day. Today we are going to talk about Marlene Loden, who was invited to be a speaker or a panelist in 1978 in Women's Exposition in New York, because she was the only executive in her organization. She was invited to talk about the challenges she has faced or whatever the barriers, but she spoke into more depth about how women face it in every step in their path. She first coined the phrase called glass ceiling, which is a topic of discussion in sociology today. So today we are going to discuss about the glass ceiling. I, Miss Mausami, would like to introduce you the concept of glass ceiling for women. Actually, the phrase coined in sociology is used for minorities as well as women. But since today we are talking on Women's Day, we'll talk it for women. So glass ceiling is actually an invisible ceiling which obstructs women to grow beyond a certain level. Say at entry level, there are many women who enter into the organization or start their career with full enthusiasm. At times, in some fields, there are more number of women employees who join in enthusiastically, but we see the number of women decreasing as the corporate ladder grows up or as they climb up the corporate ladders. And at a particular time, there is a ceiling beyond which women don't grow, or only a few women could grow. So, what is the glass ceiling? It is an discriminatory barrier that prevents women from rising to the position of power or responsibility within an organization. That means they grow up to a certain level and then they hold back, or they are stopped, or there are certain barriers which are internal as well as external which stop them from growing beyond a certain point of time. Now, when we are standing in 2025 and we are talking about a concept which was introduced in 1978, the first thing that comes to our brains is, do really it exist now? See, when Marilyn talked about it long back in 1978, the times were different. She was the only executive in her organization, but the number of girls taking education today, number of girls passing out in across the academics, rather they are flying out with glorious colors. Do we still think that there is a glass ceiling? Does it exist? So yes, it exists. The statistics shows there was a report in 2023 published by a report of Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, Women and Men in India. It was representing women only 15.73% at senior management positions. Board of director level, there were only 27.85 women. In High Court, only 14% women representation was noticed, and at Supreme Court, sadly, it is only 9%. Women MPs in 18th Lok Sabha were only 14. So imagine in a country where we represent 50% of our population, where we see that we are topping the universities, we are topping the boards, we are flying out with good colors, we are taking as good education as men's are doing. Still, our representation at the higher level is a question mark. Only a few women grow up to that position. Why does this happen? We start up very enthusiastically. These days, we are growing up girls at the par as we grow up boys. Then what happens? The first thing, The first case today we are going to discuss is of Sheetal. She was an educated female, started up her career very happily and ambitiously, but she decided to quit when she was pregnant and advised bed rest. Now her career was at peak. She has rised up at middle management level and would have done best of her in her life. But this was a setback. This was a barrier. And she chose motherhood. So here, does it mean that avoiding motherhood is advisable? No, it's not. But there are examples who have made best during this period of time or during the tough period of time. Let us discuss the example of Vani. She was one of the very early Indian venture capitalists, and she started her venture, Kalari Capital, when she was pregnant and advised rest. So, we women, if we decide, we can make or we can search for opportunities even be amongst the toughest time in our life. So, it was a barrier, of course. She was advised bed rest. She chose over the motherhood from her career. So this was a choice she made. But should her choice stop her from going ahead in the organization or making progress? Need not be. It depends on how good or how best you make out of the abilities you have, the capabilities you have, and make best use of the time you could spend with your family, or you can stay back and work deeply on your own venture. So, this is, of course, a success story. A woman can do wonders even if she's facing some problems at personal life without giving up her ability to say create. She's a creator, and embarrassing being a creator, she can also focus on something which is rising her up in her career. So yes, that balance has to be striked off. The opportunities has to be sought out. uh, our own SWOT analysis is to be done. Like, what are my strengths? I should know my weaknesses. I should know what the opportunities I can opt for, as well as what are the threats. So, if we strike a balance between all these four, I'm very sure nothing can stop us. This is the first level when majority of the women drop out of their career. They choose family over their career. But yes, there are examples wherein you can make actually better if you do a right choice. The second stage, when actually your children are growing up, your parents or your in-laws are getting old, and it is very difficult. At the same time, you're rising up in your career. That means you're growing in your organization, as well as the family responsibilities are also increasing. So again comes the conflict. Again comes the conflict, and again you have to make your choices. You're again put in a dilemma. Now, majority of us do choose responsibility or give more importance to our better half's career, and we decide to support family and give up our career. Is this the only solution? Need not be. There are examples wherein such type of dilemma has come in, or I would say much more than this. There is an example of Sindhutai Sapkar, who was a big social worker. We all know that she was awarded Padma Shri, and motherhood was a question mark for her. She was left homeless. She was not educated enough. She was having nothing in hand. But still, while taking up the responsibilities of her own kids, she decided to be responsible for many other orphans also. So today she is affectionately called as mother of orphans. When we think only of ourselves, only of our families, we become stagnant. Somewhere we stop. We stop growing. So we should think beyond it. beyond just my family, or while taking care of my family, what else I can do? I know women who has started daycare, so wherein I can say take care of my family as well as take care of other children and enable other women to grow in their career. I could do it better because now I know how to educate their children, what other values I can imbibe in them. So there are opportunities coming hand in hand with difficulties, and what we have to sort is these opportunities. Next is the story of Uma. Many of us, instead of complaining or standing strong against the sexual harassment or sexual discrimination that happens, we opt to quit. Say quitting is not a solution for it, but fighting is. Because if we quit, we are opening the doors uh, to others or our counterparts to face the same thing. Instead, if we stand and we retaliate with this, we give it back, or we complain, or we stand strong, we are opening doors for many, many, many other women like us. Why do feminists feel that the glass ceiling exists still? Because, as we all know, the statistics which we have talked about says that still, the senior management level is dominated by males. Many of the males dominated, and then, however educated the female is, however experienced she is, her productivity is always questioned. It is always pre-decided that she will go through mood swings. She will commit mistakes in few days in her month. Oh, soon she will go for on a maternity leave. What will happen then? She will not be able to cope up with the differences that has happened in 6 months. She is growing too old to take up the challenges now. She cannot take or face the risk that is coming up in senior management. How can a female take? They don't have risk taking capacities. They cannot make decisions, or they cannot stand by their decisions, are the common sentences said by or made by many of the male counterparts, or say senior management people who are males. So when the question comes up of raising someone to a senior managerial position, every time a male is preferred. Or still we see some ads, like if it is a HR at corporate level, females are preferred because it is a elite job, sitting in an AC office talking to white collar people. Women can do it, but when it comes to IR job, factory based job, organization doesn't hesitate to say that only male candidates are preferred. Why? If we have women in our police force, if we have women lawyers who deal with criminals, come on, the factory workers or blue collar workers, who says they cannot handle? Rather, I would say they could do it better. But we have some preconceptions which stop us from doing such kind of job. And if a woman still wants to do it, or a ambitious woman is always considered as a power hungry female, or too aggressive to handle. She is too aggressive, she cannot make up with anyone, so such kind of remarks or stigma is attached to her. Moreover, when a woman grows beyond a certain level, even her preferences are questioned, even her choices are questioned. Some kind of social stigma is attached to her. She never gave importance to her family. She was very rude with her husband. She didn't look after her children. But does this really happen? No. A female who is growing in her career have actually grown up mentally, socially, and physically also. She is strong enough to take care of her family, her work, and her children. Also, she adds on to the society. Say, suppose we Indians today are too proud to say that we are the fastest growing nation. just because most of our population is youth. The higher percentage of youth we have. When we say youth, we include men and women both. So if we discriminate in this way, we are just disqualifying 50% of our population. How would we grow then? Are women meant for only stereotype jobs? Now there is another concept rising up is glass cliff. Hardly people are talking about it. Rather, people are hesitant to talk about it. Glass cliff is a situation wherein we know that there is a certain failure or the risk is too high to handle. ये तो flop होने ही वाला है. This is not gonna last for long. So women here are given powerful positions. So if at all the project fails or if at all it doesn't work, the blame can be easily transferred on her head. There are certain examples wherein it happens everywhere. It happens at corporates, it's happening in politics. So it is happening everywhere. Yes, women take up or do better when there are tough times. Glass ceiling is broken when there is no way out. We have success stories of women who are being truck drivers also. So, yes, it's on YouTube, you can search it. There was a woman who is a truck driver now. Her husband died in an accident and she don't have any means to support her family. She started driving truck and she is making means now and earning for her family. What's I really appreciate women doing this. I'm working for women in rural areas of Palghar district where I have females working with me who are single earners, who are supporting their family, who are supporting their ill husband, taking care of education of their children. They are fighting all alone and making a living for them and creating a better life for their children. But what actually stopped them for doing it earlier? Why didn't I start when my husband was doing well? Why did I wait till he died? What actually stopped me? Why don't have I have an example here that both my husband and wife are driving autos or driving rickshaw, trucks? What actually holds a woman back? Is the security what she is getting? Or there are some hidden barriers which stop her? Unless and until it is do or die situation, she doesn't push herself to that extent, or she is not allowed at times to push herself to that extent, which prevents her from growing. But while we discuss this sad stories, there are some happy moments also. There are some top women entrepreneurs in India setting new records. We have Upasna from Mobivic, we have Falguni Nayak of Nykaa, Supriya Paul, Josh Talks. These are all women entrepreneurs, only a few I could name here, but there are many, many, many in this list. These entrepreneurs are an example for all of us that yes, we can do. They were not having any business background, nor many of them were supported a lot, but it was their courage which have brought them there. It was their vision that has brought them there. It was their will to do something has brought them there. Now, how can we break this glass ceiling? We have all understood and agreed that yes, there is some glass ceiling stopping us. How only one person pushing it, it's difficult to break. So, how to break this glass ceiling? There are three ways to break it: social reforms, organizational reforms, and individual reforms. Social reforms can come from society, that is legal reforms. Yes, it is happening. We are having acts like POSH Act preventing sexual harassment at workplace. We have labor laws supporting women wherein they can work. We have success stories like Sudha Chandran. She is talking about her success story after crossing many, many, many hindrances. Moreover, go to the previous slide, please. social reforms in there are reforms like free education. Previous slide. Social reforms like free education for girls. These days many state governments are talking about free education even for higher education for girls, which will not stop them their education at 10th or 12th grade, but they can study as much as they want, and I am very sure women will take full advantage of it. Social security, yes, it is a big concern these days. uh, Many of the jobs or many of the doors are closed for women because of social security. There are certain things which still stop women from stepping out late hours. So, yes, it is a concern. While raising up girls, we should raise up boys also with same dignity. So, all the men's who has joined here, I'm very sure, and I would like to appreciate that they wanted to hear a woman talking about women. When men's will understand the situation, see, we are a society. I'm not talking some anti-men thing. We have to work together. We have to work hand in hand to grow. If we create a happy society for a woman staying nearby us, we'll create it for our daughters also. We are creating the same kind of society for the upcoming generation. Last but not the least are individual changes. Individual changes are, I should change myself. I change myself because sometimes I stop myself. When I discussed about Vani Kola, I said that many females opt to quit when they are pregnant or they want to take care of their families. But yes, we can make some changes and change it, change our mindsets. We should not stop ourselves from excelling into what we can do. I met a old lady uh, who actually shared a very interesting experience with me. I would like to share it with you all. She was old enough and she was not able to take care of herself. I'm also working with many social organizations, so I happened to talk to her on a weekend, and she told me that I'm too old, my children are taking care of me, but please suggest me a good old age home where I can shift myself. I said, Auntie, why do you want to go to old age home yourself? Your kids are taking care of it, right? Old age home is still a stigma. So she said, Beta, please try and understand. I was a working woman lately. I worked hard for my family, for my children. But that time, I sent my children to a good daycare. I was not able to sit back and take care of my children. So I sent them to daycare and they were okay with it. So now I can't ask my daughter-in-law to stay back and take care of me. She is working, she is making her career for the family. So I just don't want to be a burden. Open-minded, that's what it is. Make right choices. Think broadly. Think beyond yourself. Stop thinking at micro level, grow up to the macro level. Think bigger, think about societies. Please try and understand the choices which we make in life actually creates a greater impact on the coming generation. I should be a female in the way I want my daughter to be. If I'm strong enough, I can expect my daughter to be. I cannot be a lame female and expect my daughter to be a bold, smart girl. I will want to stop her. Rather, open your minds, make right choices. Even if difficulties, there are opportunities hidden. Try to search for these opportunities. See, social changes, legal reforms, uh, social barriers are out of, say, our hands, or rather we cannot really make great changes there at present. But what I can do is I can do my own internal conditioning, so that I myself create a good aura around me. I can mingle up with good people. I can condition my mind to grow in whichever field I want. And see, if you decide it yourself internally, doors actually open for you. They are bound to open for you, and success will surely come. Next slide. Next slide. Thank you. So here, last but not the least, just because I'm talking to you all, I'm gaining the confidence and I'm growing in the fields which I do, I would just like to give credit to a few females who are with me. When we say that a man succeeds, we say that there is a successful female behind him, or there is a female behind every successful man. But I would say when a female succeeds, there is again a female behind her. So it's not only one, but there are many such females supporting a female when they grow. Their aspirations, the leaders whom they follow, of course, their family, their mother, the way they are grown, the coming generation, their daughters. If you don't have daughter, please don't regret. Your sons also support you the same way. Grow up your sons the similar way you try to grow up your daughters. And believe me, you will create a wonderful society around. Change the way you look at yourself, and the society will look at you in a different way. And that will make you grow in whichever field you want. Another, I got this attitude, or I got the confidence with some idols, or I would, the examples which I have discussed with you, one amongst them is um, Anita Dongre also, whom I'm fortunate to be associated with. At this age, the kind of passion she has, her sister Meena, who is leading all the production activities, the way they work relentlessly towards their goals actually inspire you to do best. And believe me, when a woman decide her goals, she can just do wonders. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.